No, that was going to be the follow up question. Is just like I think perhaps this is also a function of like the Raptors have been very competitive. Just ever since Masai and Bobby took over, only missed the playoffs that 1 year in Tampa, which doesn't even really count. Um, so perhaps some of the thinking could be, I was going to ask you, I guess, is sort of thinking whether they can contribute right away. But even though some guys have, even like a Delano, for example, was in the rotation, at least at the start of the season and stuff like that. Like, I think generally speaking, the strategy of depending on rookies to contribute for you, especially if you are, going to the playoffs, if you are intending to go deep into the playoffs, that is a little bit shaky.
I would say too, that's probably a spot where there's a little bit of disconnect between coaching staff and front office. I'm not
Okay.
like reporting that. I could just see it where
No, that makes sense.
Nick
Yeah,
Nurse
logically,
probably
yeah.
looks at the list here and immediately looks at 3-point percentage and 3-point volume on that list, right? Like, what does this
We'll
team
get to
need
that
short term?
Yeah.
Whereas I think the approach that Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster have tended to take, and this again, it doesn't hold for every pick, but it's the question of, there are two questions, right? Does this guy help you win more games now?
Mhm,
Which for
mhm.
most rookies is going to be no. And even in the case of Delano Banton, I think that probably, like him playing small rotation minutes to start the year instead of being in the G League, probably disrupted the path that he was on. Obviously, he's in a good place still.
Yeah.
But though he could have been playing 40 minutes a game instead of 8 or 10 minutes a game. The other question is, can we develop this player into someone who wins us games later? And I think that's the question that the Raptors have focused on more. And, Masai always talks in terms of championships, right? Like, and Bobby Webster did this at the trade deadline too, of, well, do you make a move because it helps you win an extra 2 games right now, but it doesn't move your championship needle at all? And I think they've taken that approach more often than not to the draft where, hey, Delano Banton, yeah, maybe he could have played a 10th man role all last year, but if they develop him right, maybe he could be a 6th man.
Yep.
Whereas another pick maybe is a surefire, more certain than Delano Banton to play a backup role, but less upside there. So I think that those are the kind of things that they look at there more so than how much can this guy play right now.
No, that's fair. And I think, honestly, part of that comes down to sort of like this style of player that they've drafted, which I'm going to actually get to that part as well. I think the last thing with me is just like the age point is like, do you think this is also a function of the fact that the Raptors have been very successful, which means, generally speaking, if you're a successful team, you're going to draft later in the draft, unless you have made some other picks, right? Obviously, the Raptors were able to get the 9th pick overall and take Jakob Poeltl, despite, being a playoff team because of the Andrea Bernardi trade. You've had other instances. Obviously, they tanked that 1 year and they got Scotty, which was great. But generally speaking, you're going to be picking later in the draft. And later in the draft, I mean, I guess there's like 2 strategies. You either take a complete swing on a freshman who probably had a down year, and so therefore their stock went down, but maybe coming out of high school they had a really high ranking, or you go with something more dependable, which is like usually some players who have played a lot more in college. You think that's also a factor in the age?
I do think it is. And, when we're talking about floor versus ceiling, the guys at the top of the draft are always going to have a completely different equation, right?
Yeah, definitely.
There aren't a lot of years where like Tari Eason is going to go 20th overall and has the same profile as a top 5 pick. Like that doesn't happen super often. OG Anunoby shouldn't have slid the way he slid, but he had injury concerns and a lot of teams weren't comfortable with that. So yes, I think it's definitely a product of where you pick as well. And you have to embrace being creative and thinking outside of the NCAA to NBA pipeline a little bit too with those picks where, Pascal Siakam wasn't a nobody in college, but he was a little bit of an odd pick as a first rounder, as someone who was primarily back to the basket in a smaller conference with a ton of volume, and who knew how that would translate. You look at what the Spurs did during their dynasty years, and some of those are just good picks, but a lot of that too is looking outside the box, beating other teams to international markets that the NBA scouts weren't traditionally in, finding the Ginobilis and Parkers and stuff like that at good value. So there are a few ways to come at it. And I think it's just, if you have top picks, that's a competitive advantage. If you have lower picks, you got to find a different edge. Right, and a lot of times that's makes either sense. Your scouting or your approach thing and really your developmental philosophy. I think this far into this front office too, one of the biggest things they're probably trying to measure pre-draft is developmental capacity, I guess you'd call it, which is, okay, we know what the ceiling is and we know what the floor is. What are the chances they reach the ceiling? Because some guys don't have that developmental capacity. They won't do well in the G League. They won't, do well, kind of left on their own to work on their game and stuff like that.
You talking about Bruno?
And, pardon?
Basically, you're saying Bruno.
Honestly, I'll name a name. It's the Deontay Davis corollary is what I call it now in my draft article. So the year that they took Jakob Poeltl 9 and Pascal Siakam 27, that if for those who don't remember, that was the top 8 year. Everyone knew who the top 8 guys were going to be.
Yep.
That was the Jaylen Brown, Marquise Chris draft. Like everyone knew who was off the board at 8. And there was one tiny rumor that Jaylen Brown might slide. And otherwise, as Raptors people, we were looking at everyone 9 down. And Deontay Davis was a guy that I liked. The athleticism was crazy. He fit.
Him and Scout were the two who kept falling. And people were like, just take him. You have 27 overall. Just take him.
Yeah.
Now, of course, they took Pascal, which was probably the best player in that draft. But
this is where... I know what you're doing with that.
No, I mean, hey, listen.
We could talk finals a different time. But no, so what that kind of taught me, and I don't mean to pick on Deontay Davis, but he bounced around a little bit. Teams kind of gave up on him quickly. He went to the G League and put up good numbers, but like it's the Christian Wood thing too, where Christian Wood, it took him like 3 years of putting up bonkers numbers in the G League to stick in the NBA. And whenever that's happening over and over again, and a guy has all the tools, like NBA teams love tools. If you have all the tools and you're sliding down draft boards,
there's
something's up.
There's something,
and in some cases, that's injury. In some cases, it's agent stuff. In some cases, it's, well, all the tools are there, but you don't have confidence that you're going to be able to develop them. And that's kind of that's another, I said the brain is kind of the black box of drafting, and that's where some teams are, try to chip away at that a little bit. And so I call that the Deontay Davis corollary, because it's like, it's not that he was like a traditional bust because he got drafted so late, but he just, he never put it together more than putting up numbers in the G League.